So about 2 years ago, I did a video here at Sherwood. So this is Sherwood driving test area, and I drove around a little bit. Ever since that time, a few things have actually changed, and there is something in particular that I want to talk about, and this is the speed limits. So the video that I did, it's still very helpful, but I think there's been some changes in regards to speed limits. So in one of the roads, the speed limits has been dropped. I think the speed limits used to be about 60 or 50, I can't remember, but the speed limit is now 40. And this is the road which is actually very close to the driving test center. So I'm not going to be driving for long in this video. I'm just gonna drive around that area, and I'm gonna point out what has changed. The video that I did about, I think it's almost 2 years now, it's still helpful. And like always, I always say that this is not to say that this is the route that your driving examiner is going to take. There is a lot of routes that your driving examiner can take, but this is just to give you an idea of what to expect if you are doing your driving test at Sherwood. Also, even if you're not doing your driving test at Sherwood, you would want to pay attention, because a lot of speed limits are actually changing. So a lot of places are getting busy, and they're actually dropping the speed limits in most places from 60 to 40, some places from 60 to 50. So you really want to read the signs and remember things always change all the time. So here I'm parked in the car park. I'm just gonna drive for maybe 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna point out a few things. I could probably end up on the motorway as well. We're gonna see how we go. This is just to give you an idea of what to expect if you are doing your driving test at Sherwood in 2023. So first thing, I've parked in the car park where they start the driving test. This is on Saturday, so not much is happening inside the car park here. But when you're doing your driving test during the week, there will actually be a lot of other people doing their driving test, also probably parked here as well. So if you're doing your test, you want to come early so that you choose a good parking spot. So I'm gonna put on my seatbelt. The car is already on, so I don't need to do anything. I'm gonna select drive. When leaving the car park here, it's important to be careful, because sometimes people are driving out of the apartment here, and also some people are entering inside this parking spot. So we need to really take our time and keep the speed as slow as possible. I think it says about 5 kilometers per hour when you're coming in, so you really want to go slow when you're going out of the center. So I'm going to indicate, I'm going to look, make sure it's safe to go. It's safe to go. There is a mirror there which can show me if there is maybe like someone entering inside the car park. No one is there, so I'm just gonna take my time, because if I go fast, I'm not gonna be able to clear that wall. It's actually pretty tight. Yeah, it's very tight. So here there is a giveaway sign, which means that we have to give way to pedestrians. I think in the previous video I went left, but in this video I'm actually gonna go right. I'm gonna look for pedestrians. It looks okay, so I can step out. So I've given way to pedestrians. Now I need to go forward, and I need to give way to cars. Usually there's a lot of cars parked on the left here, so it makes it very hard to see. This is why it's important that if you are doing your test at Sherwood, just take your time when leaving the car park. Okay, so there's a car, it just left, so I can actually turn. At the end of the road, I'm going to be making a left turn. So to turn left, I check my mirror, indicate left, and then I'm just gonna come here and position a little bit left, make sure it's safe to turn, no one is coming, so I can actually turn. So one thing that has changed is this road used to be, I think 50, I can't remember exactly, but it's actually now, and there is a person crossing with the little girl, so I need to make sure I stop, because there's a zebra crossing there. Look, make sure no one else is coming. It's safe to go, so I can go. person with the door open, so I can go around a little bit here because it's a dotted line, and because I'm not stepping completely into that lane, I actually don't need to indicate. And then here, the speed limit here used to be 60, but they've actually changed it to 50. So that's one of the changes to expect. Railroad crossing, looking left and right. And then at the end of the road, I'm gonna make a right turn. So to turn right, check my mirrors, indicate right, slow down the vehicle. There is a stop sign, so I need to make sure I stop completely. Once I stop, there is a car coming and it's going a little bit fast, so I'm gonna wait for it. The other car is coming, but they are too fast, so I can turn. Once I turn, this road is 40. There's been no changes here, so this used to be 40 and it's actually still 40, so nothing has changed there. So I need to make sure that I stay under the limit. Also, I position my vehicle properly. I'm gonna be going left, so indicate. And then I'm gonna pull over on the left. Mirror, indicate, and then I stop nicely on the left. Make sure I'm close enough to the left. And then here I'm gonna turn around the car. My goal for this drive is to show the changes in speed limits. I'm not necessarily doing anything else. If you would like to know more about the Sherwood driving test area, I think the previous video that I did, I drove a little bit more, but in this video, I'm particularly paying attention to the changes in speed limits. So I'm gonna turn around the car to go back to that road that I was on. So I'm gonna indicate, check my mirrors, and no one is coming, so I can turn. And it looks like I might end up doing like a 3-point turn here. I think I could just about do a U-turn, so I don't need to reverse back because I can actually do it without having to do a 3-point turn. So mirror, indicate, and then I'm going to be turning right. So making sure that I look and then no one is coming, so I can turn. And then I'm going to be making a left turn soon. So I'm gonna check my mirrors, I'm gonna indicate left, and I'm gonna look into my turn, and then I'm gonna turn because it's safe to turn. Again, here the speed limit is 50, so that has changed from 40 to 50. I mean from 60 to 50. And then here there is a train coming, so here there's also a keep clear sign, but because I'm the first car, I can actually go forward and pass the keep clear sign. And then I need to make sure that I stop behind the solid white line. So that has opened, but it's important that I wait here until the light stops flashing. So once the light stops flashing, then I can go. Okay, there's also a cyclist, 2 cyclists on my left, which is a little bit of a tricky situation. I think I should be good to continue. And this has changed. I think it used to be 50, so it's now 40, because this area gets quite busy here, especially during the week. This gets very busy, so it's important that we keep the speed slow, no pedestrians, so I can continue. So remembering here, the speed limit has changed from, I think it used to be 50, it's now 40. So it continues to be 40 until we get to another sign. This set of traffic lights, I'm gonna be going straight. It tends to amber, but because I'm already halfway through, I can just keep going. Form 1 lane, checking. So here, continuing doing 40 until I get to another sign. So I have to wait until I get to the 60 before I increase the speed. So once I hit this 60, I can actually increase the speed. So the speed limit is now 60. So I'm watching my mirrors every now and then. Nothing has changed on this road here. This used to be 60 and this is still 60, so no changes here. Every now and then checking my mirrors. So Sherwood in general is actually a quite good test center to do your test at. I think, I mean, you get some changes in speed limits, but in general it's actually a good center to do your driving test at. Traffic lights looking both ways. So here, remembering the speed is 60, so I need to keep an eye on the speed. That car is gonna wait for me. That's good. And then I look ahead, I see there's people stopped at the traffic lights. So I'm gonna start slowing down nice and early and making sure that I don't get too close to them. And then the traffic lights has changed from red to green and they are moving. Make sure that there is enough space on the other side. It looks like there's a good traffic flow, so I can keep going. Looking both ways as well there. And then here I'm making sure that I'm maintaining a safe gap between me and the car in front of me. Speed is still 60. I haven't seen another sign, so even though I've been driving for a while on this road, the speed is actually 60, still 60 until I see another sign. So at the next set of traffic lights, I'm going to be doing a right turn. So when you're doing a test, and especially if you're not familiar with the area, what you would want to do, if you're turning right, use the far right lane. So mirror, indicate, and then I'm moving to the far right lane. I mean, if you know the area, it's okay to use the middle lane because that middle lane can also go right. But it's best to always use the far right lane if you don't know the area, unless maybe your driving examiner has specifically say that you have to use the middle lane to turn right. So the middle lane can also turn right, but unless you are 100% sure that both lanes can turn, then it's always best to actually get into the far right lane if you are turning right. Okay, so they go first. So here what we are gonna do, we are going to go to the motorway. This is gonna lead us to the motorway. And actually, this lane is the best lane to be in when you're turning right here, because if you are in the middle lane, you're gonna have to merge, which is an extra things that you have to do. So I've already eliminated extra steps. I'm already ready to merge on the motorway. This lane is gonna just straight away take me to the merging lane. So I think the traffic light is gonna change. Yep, there's the green light, looking both ways, make sure no one is running a red light. and then we can just turn. And then here we're gonna speed up. Now it's important to remember this is gonna go to the motorway, but we cannot speed up until we get to there is an 80 sign coming up. So we have to wait until we get to the 80 before we go over 60. So once we get to the 80, then we can speed up, go close to 80. And then here there's a merging lane, so checking the mirror, maybe a shoulder check to the left as well. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because I'm gonna merge. So here I'm gonna merge, mirror, indicate, shoulder check, and then merge. And then that road there is no arrow which shows you that you have to merge. So it's important to look ahead. I just wish there was maybe arrows which shows people that they have to merge like other places, but there's nothing there. Okay, so remembering here the speed is 80 and I need to maintain a 2 seconds gap between me and the car in front of me. And when we are driving in high speed limits, the 2 seconds actually it will look a little bit further. So even though the speed limit is 80, that car is doing like 75, I still need to hold back a little bit. So still 80, there is a sign there which shows me that I have to keep doing 80. I mean, that's the limit, of course. Still 80. Alright, so soon what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be changing to the lane on my left. So here another sign which says that the speed limit is still 80. This can be tempting to go over. It's very easy to go over there. So mirror to change lane. I'm gonna hold back a little bit because there's a car on the left in the blind spot. And I'm gonna indicate left. I'm gonna check the mirrors again. I'm gonna shoulder check, gently move the steering wheel, and I've changed lane. Also, I noticed there the speed limit changed to 90. So it's actually now 90 kilometers per hour. The motorway here at Sherwood is actually not that difficult. I find like it's a little bit straightforward. So we're gonna be taking the next exit on the left. So the exit on the left coming up. So here one thing to pay attention to is to make sure we don't slow down while we are still on the motorway. So we check the mirror, indicate, and then we can exit the motorway. And we need to immediately slow down because this lane is used to slow down. This 60 here, when we get to that sign, we have to be doing 60. And then we're gonna change to the right lane, so indicate and check. And then at the next roundabout, let's say maybe your driving examiner has asked you to turn right. What that means is, it means that you have to change lanes because the only way you can turn right is if you are in the right lane. So I'm gonna check my mirror, I'm gonna indicate. I'm also gonna do a shoulder check to the right because there's a bit of space on my right. So, and then we change to this lane. This roundabout here, there is a traffic light there. Sometimes that traffic light turns on. So if the traffic light is red, we have to stop behind the line, but it's not on now, so we can move up and stop behind the dotted lines. Okay, so there is a gap coming up, so I'm gonna take it. So first lane, first exit, second exit, keep going, and then as before I exit, indicate left, and I go to the third exit. And immediately here, the speed limit says 60. And then here also, I mean, if you're doing your test during school zone, there will be some schools to look out for. Form 1 lane, so mirror, shoulder check to the left, and then I continue. So that's what I wanted to share in this video. I think the other video that I did back in two years ago, it's still probably got a few more things that are probably more useful. I think if you combine these two, it will give you an idea of what to expect at Sherwood. The biggest change is the change in speed limits. I think that's one of the things that is currently going on around Queensland. A lot of places they are changing the speed limits, so it's important that you look out, because if you speed on the driving test, you actually fail the driving test. So you cannot pass the test if you speed. Okay, I'm gonna find a place where I can stop, and then I'm gonna end the video. Okay, this roundabout I'm gonna go straight, so looking, no one is there, and then indicate left to leave. Of course, if this was a driving test, your driving examiner is going to take you back to the driving test center. But because I don't really have time, I have to go to my next lesson now. I'm not gonna go back to the driving test center, but yeah, this gives you an idea of what to expect. If you are doing a driving test soon, I wish you the best of luck. Remember that practice makes progress, and see you in the next driving related video. I'm gonna go left here, so mirror, and then I should check left, and I'm gonna turn.